Welcome to another ESO build video. Like each, I will be showing you the gear, skills, CP, food I'm using, and showing some gameplay footage at the end. What's up guys, back with another build video. Now, today I'm a little bit sick, but I'm going to try and get this going for you guys. Hopefully have it out on Thanksgiving, depending on if I can get enough gameplay videos. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is, of course, a hybrid build, so you guys can kind of guess what the gear is going to be like. It's not going to be anything too special. It's mostly the skills and the playstyle that are going to be different about this build. So this build was very difficult for me to get correct. I did a lot of different like combinations and different things to try and get it working, and for a long time it was just playing like absolute shit. And I couldn't figure out what it was that I needed to do in order to get it working. So yeah, it took a little bit of doing, but I finally got it up and running, and now it's playing like a beast. It took a while to figure out like what weapons to use and what skills to use, and that was the biggest challenge when making this build, but I finally got it figured out. So on my back bar, I tried running an Inferno staff, I tried running a lightning staff, I tried running sword and board, I tried running restoration staff, but ultimately on my back bar I ended up going with a bow. And then I tried on my front bar, I tried dual wield, I tried Inferno staff, but eventually I ended at greatsword. Now I'm going to go through each piece of gear, tell you why I'm kind of using it and what the traits are. So my monster set, as you guys know and can see, is Falcon Scoria. I do want to get my headpiece transmuted to an infused trait. Once that's transmuted, I'll have all the pieces the way that I want them. I've got Impen on the shoulders. Both are heavy. You do want to run 2 pieces of heavy on this build. And then on the body, we are running medium Pelinals. Now, Pelinals is, you know, what basically makes hybrid actually doable, what makes it so strong. So Pelinals is obviously going to be what's on the body, and it's going to be medium, so it'll be 5 medium, 2 heavy. That 2 heavy is very important because you need that extra survivability. I tried playing without it, and you have to have the extra heavy, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It actually matters quite a bit. Even though you don't get a whole lot just from 2 pieces, it does matter. So I'm running it infused on the chest and on the legs for the extra little bit of max stats. It's not really that big of a deal. If you want, you can run Impen instead, and then you can run a couple of well-fitted on the body, but I'm running infused just for the extra stats, and I plan on running infused on Falcon Scoria. So the thing about hybrids is you need to squeeze out every little bit of stats that you possibly can in order to get it up and running. Now, yeah, so I'm running infused, then I'm running Impen on all the other pieces. Hakijo, not Hakijos, what are they? Prismatic Defense or whatever, the tri-stat glyphs is what you want in every single piece. I am missing 1 tri-stat glyph right now, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to, you know, break the build completely without having it, but I do plan on putting it on here right soon. I do have the money, I've been lazy, that's all. And then our second set is going to be Shacklebreaker. Now, I realize these are 2 crafted sets, so this makes it a little bit more difficult to actually make this build, but it is doable. Just deconstruct as much jewelry as you possibly can to get the upgrade pieces. As you can see, I'm still running 2 blue rings. I just upgraded this necklace to purple, and it is very expensive to get jewelry upgraded, so I mean, that could take a little while, but just deconstruct all the jewelry that you get from your PvP rewards and from dungeons, and then just save it up until you're able to upgrade this stuff to purple. It's going to take me a little while. I don't feel like dropping 180k to upgrade just these 2 pieces, so I'm just going to save up my purple mats until I have enough to upgrade them that way. Now, the way I did this was a little bit wonky. You can do this differently than I did, but I had the Pelinal stuff already. I had the weapons, the Pelinal weapons already.
So I'm running 2 Shackle Breaker on the body, and then on the jewelry. And I'm running 3 Pellinal on the body and the weapons. You can, to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you can just craft the Shackle Breaker jewelry and weapons, and then put all Pellinals on the body. That's probably a little bit easier, but it works the exact same way, so it doesn't really matter. So I am running Nirnhoned on the Greatsword, and I am running Poison. Hence, you know, why this is kind of like a poison fire based build. It's using both. I'm not sure what I came up with for the name just yet, but hopefully it's something cool. I am running Escapist Poison. You can run Drain Health Poison if you want a little bit more damage, but I found that the Immobilize on this actually helps one of your abilities, and I'll go into that once we get to it. So this Escapist Poison immobilizes and makes you immune to crowd control effects, which is really handy. It inflicts hindrance on your target, giving you major expedition and reducing their movement speed, which is also very handy since we don't have any way of gaining major expedition on this build. But I'll show you a way that you can get it if you want to. And then we have Drain Stamina. So this makes it less likely that they're going to be dodge rolling a whole lot, because once this is going on them, they're going to run out of stamina pretty quickly, and we're going to be restoring stamina with this. So I find that this combination of poison is actually perfect for this build. You get the Immobilize, which causes your whip to be able to do its extra damage. You get the Major Expedition, which makes you faster and it slows them down. And you get some stamina regen and drain some of theirs. It's pretty scummy poison, actually. It's a good thing they nerfed the drain stamina and drain magicka effects on these. And then on the back bar, I'm running Pellinal's Bow with the weapon Berserker enchant and infused trait. So that's how I'm running that. I recommend golding at least your weapons if you can't afford to do your body pieces, which I cannot right now because that's going to be, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or whatever it would cost me to end up doing that, so I'm just going to do that slowly. I have so many builds going on, it's just too expensive for me to gold every single build that I make. So I'll just be kind of working on that, you know, indirectly, but I do recommend golding weapons at the very least to up your damage. So as you can see here, we'll check out the stats real quick. We're trying to keep it semi-even between the max magicka and max stamina. That will be evened out a little bit more once I put a tri-stat glyph on my boots. Our max health is not very high, but that will go up in PvP. You're running around with about 20 to 21k max health. And then our weapon and spell damage unbuffed is 3,361. We're not relying on a lot of crit because we are mostly a dot build. We can still hit hard, but we also rely on our dots whittling them down. Now, I will show you that buffed up real quick. Show you what our stats are looking like. So, buffed up, we have almost 4k weapon damage. If you apply the Berserker enchant, it goes up to about 4,500 weapon and spell damage. So you will be hitting very, very hard with your weapon and spell damage. As you can see, our resistances do go up once we have our buff up, which we definitely need to maintain the spell and physical resistance buff because it is very low right now. Now, if you're going to be playing this in BGs, your crit resist, or not BGs, in Cyrodiil, your crit resist is fine. It is a little bit low in BGs, though, as the champion points will not be going into that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the skills. So, for the skills, using the good old whip. There was 2 things I definitely wanted to use on this build, and that was the whip and the leap. Dunking on people and whipping them, that's the 2 coolest things that DKs have, and I definitely wanted to use that. I also definitely wanted to use reflective plates, mostly because I'm a Nightblade main. So reflective plates is one of the most annoying things that a DK can do against a Nightblade. And I'll tell you what, I enjoy doing it against Nightblades and Sorks and anything else with projectiles. It's just super annoying for them, and it's super hilarious for me. So definitely wanted to run that. So whip on the front bar, Like I said, our poison will actually enable our off balance proc, but we do have another way on the back bar to enable that as well. So we don't have to rely on our potion being procced in order for us to get them off balance while in BGs. Outside of BGs, you can rely on your champion points to actually get the off balance. Then we're using Critical Rush. This is our gap closer. One of the main reasons that we're using a two-hander. The other thing you can use is Fiery Grip if you want to. This will also give you Major Expedition, so you don't have to run that poison. But I prefer to use Crit Rush since we are using the two-hander. There's no reason not to. Then we're using Rally, our source of Major Brutality, and it's a pretty good heal. It's one of our main heals. We actually have a few ways of healing on this build, but not a huge amount. And I've not found that to be a big deal because our ultimate heals us for quite a bit, and our potions are going to be healing us as well. So we do have that, and we have Rally. Our next one is Venomous Claws. This is I went back and forth between the morphs on this, and I found that I needed to get a better balance of Magicka and Stamina abilities. So I ended up going with the Stamina morph just because it costs less for the most part, and because it still does a lot of damage. The damage over time is pretty big, and yeah, it works pretty well. And then I'm running, of course, Reflective Plates. If you guys don't know why this is good, you need to get in more BGs. You'll see why. The Snare immunity and Immobilize immunity is very, very good, and the Reflecting has literally killed people more times than I can think. Where a sorcerer throws a crystal frag at me, not really realizing my wings are up, and it reflects and hits them right in the face and kills them. It's fucking hilarious. So yeah, it's not just a meme, it's just very powerful as well, so very good. Ferocious Leap. Now, you could run the other morph Take Flight if you want to, but I wanted to keep with the theme, dealing flame damage. So I wanted to have flame and poison, not physical damage. And also, this is not just an offensive ability, it's a survivability ability, because the shield that it gives you is the same amount as your health. So you double your health once you use this ability. So this is, yeah, this is great. The other thing you could use is Dawnbreaker, because everybody knows how good Dawnbreaker is right now. You could use Dawnbreaker as Smiting if you want the stun, or you could use Flawless if you want the extra weapon damage. That's up to you, but personally I like dunking people, so Ferocious Leap is what I'm going with. On the back bar, using Poison Injection. The only reason I'm really using a bow is because it's the only weapon that deals any kind of poison damage. I did try the Destruction Staff for a while and used Destructive Reach to try and get that. That was my CC and my another source of flame damage, but it cost so damn much Magicka, it just wasn't worth it, whereas this costs 1500 stamina, and I can just kind of shoot it and forget, and I don't really have to worry about using it as a CC, and I went with a different skill instead of using this. So yeah, I like using the bow instead. The only upside of using the staff really was that I could use heavy attacks to get back Magicka, but now with this version of the build, I'm not finding that I'm running out of resources near as much as I was before. We're using Noxious Breath. I don't like the flame morph of it because we have more poison abilities than we have flame abilities. So I like using Noxious Breath. And also this is important for the Major Fracture, reducing their physical resistance because we don't have any penetration. So this is actually pretty important to use during fights if you can get close to them. This is not really a build where you want to be at range very much. You use this as your opener. As you're getting closer, you want to do Noxious Breath, and then you want to switch to your front bar. Coagulating Blood, really good heal. I found that when I get low, I can pop my Rally and pop my Coag, and it heals me almost to full most of the time. And then if it doesn't, I can top myself off with poisons if I need resources as well. I'm using Shattering Rocks as my main CC. The only reason it's on the back bar instead of the front bar is because I wanted all these abilities on the front bar. I did have Reflective Plates on the back bar, but I didn't like having to switch bars every couple of seconds to put it back up. So I ended up slotting it right back on my front bar so that I can use it while I'm in combat and have it up at all points that I needed it. So I put Shattering Rocks on the back bar instead, which isn't too bad because I can press that and I can swap a lot easier than I can swapping back and forth to press Reflectives. So the reason I chose this morph is because I needed the extra heal. So when I'm in an outnumbered situation, if I use this on one person and then beat on another, it's going to give me a heal once they break out of it and start attacking me again. And I really need that. You need to have the armor, spiked armor, whichever morph you decide to use, you have to have this for the physical and spell resistance, or else you're way too squishy. I tried a version of this build that used Cauterize. Yeah, I used Cauterize instead of this, and it just wasn't enough. I was just way too squishy. I was getting taken out way too quickly. I couldn't stay in fights. So you have to have this up and running at all times, or you're gonna die. And the extra damage that it reflects back at them is actually pretty relevant as well. Now, going forward with the poison theme, we're using Corrosive Armor. This will save your ass when you are getting dogpiled by people. So I definitely recommend using this on the back bar. I use Take Flight or Ferocious Leap a lot more often than I do Corrosive Armor, but when I have used this, when I'm running away or something, or I'm trying to get out of a huge 1vx situation, then this comes in clutch for sure, but you're going to be using your front bar ability a lot more often. This is another one you could slot Dawnbreaker Smite, or not Dawnbreaker Smite, Flawless Dawnbreaker in instead to get extra weapon damage on the back bar, but I don't find that I really need that much more weapon damage. 4,500 is quite a bit, so I still hit like a truck. So that's not big an issue. I like having the extra defensive option. Another thing that you could run is the Psijic Order ult is Undo. That would be another good option to put here as well as a defensive ult. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for the skills. Let's go ahead and go into what I'm using for my Mundus. The Warrior, you're almost always going to use this as for your Mundus when you're playing a hybrid. You just need it. And I went between having max stat, tri-stat food to having this recovery food. And even though my max stats in BGs are a lot lower, the extra recovery helps me survive way more. And our recovery is actually pretty damn low on this build, unfortunately. But now that it's bumped up to where it is, I find that I'm not running out near as much. Don't let the recovery fool you. I know it's low, but it definitely works. You could also use the purple recovery drink, but it'll be a little bit lower. Where is it? This one? Let's see. That'll bring up your health recovery, but let's see. What does it bring it up to when you use this ability? Let's see. Brings it up to 1,000. That's not hugely significant. I'd rather have that little bit extra mag and stamina recovery, but you could definitely use this drink as well. But if you're not going to use this drink and you think you can survive with almost no recovery, then you can use the tri-stat if you want to have more at max stats. It'll bump it up to about 24,000 for each. So yeah, I would still recommend using the recovery drinks. So even in BGs, the recovery drinks are a little bit better, even though you're gonna have very low max health. You're gonna see this is a very, very fast playstyle build. So you'll see that in the videos. So yeah, this is pretty much it, I believe. I could go into the CP real quick. I don't like doing CP in the videos because it's very boring, so I'm just gonna kind of scroll through it. Warlord, Sprinter, put as much as you think you want in there. I kind of do these close to the same amount, but I like having Mooncap a little bit higher. Tumbling, definitely want some dodge roll. Spell erosion, that's all I've got here. I just want a little bit of extra spell penetration for my whips. Master at Arms, direct damage, physical arms expert. I'm using a bow and a two-hander, so it does the higher light attack damage. You don't really need this, but I light attack and heavy attack quite a bit. If you want, you could put more into Master at Arms instead. Tactician was the pass that I was talking about for dodge rolling, where you can set them off balance. I'll probably actually redistribute this. That's a little too much for physical weapons expert, now that I think about it. Shattering Blows a little bit for damage shields. Thermitage, because we have a lot of dots. And Mighty, I'd like to have more in this tree if I could. Then 42 into Resistance, 50 in Ironclad. 42 and 42 split evenly, 3 in the Thick Skin. Nothing in the Lord tree. And yeah, that's pretty much the CP. I hate doing CP because I pretty much just play in Battlegrounds now anyway. The only time I go into Cyrodiil is with my Nightblade. He's the only one that I feel comfortable enough playing with in that sort of environment. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Another thing you could do if you find that you're not able to survive, you could use Troll King instead of Valken Scoria. Or you can use Zon. I don't have the Zon helmet yet, so I have not been able to try out this set to see if it works good with this build, but that's another thing that you could run with this build that would probably be pretty good. But for now, I'm just using Scoria. I would have to get new shoulders anyway, because I want to keep my two-piece heavy, and I don't really want to go with a light piece at all. That's just me, though. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys, and yeah, if you like this build video, check out my other ones I recently put up. Recently put up a Gank Nightblade build, and I put up a Magicus Warden build. Now we've got the Hybrid DK. I'm working on a Hybrid Sork build. I'm working on a Hybrid Nightblade build. I've been playing another Hybrid Nightblade build that was not mine, so I wanted to make my own that I've got coming up with. Let's see, I've got a Templar build that I'm working on. And I think I have several other Nightblade builds that I'm working on as well. I think like 4 different Nightblade builds that I've just been working on. I've got a lot going on in this game, guys, so if you guys ever want to help me farm dungeons or anything like that, or help me out with some mats or anything like that, that'd be great, but no need for it. It just takes a long time to get these builds up and running. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, enjoy the gameplay video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Hey guys, just wanted to show you this product that I'm selling real quick. It includes coffee, weight loss supplements, CBD oils, hangover, sleep and energy patches, mood stimulators, and much more. If you'd like to support me and my channel, check out the links in the description.